We're going to start the day again by reviewing. So I am going to multiply this binomial. I'm going to go ahead and write this out as 3x minus 1 times 3x minus 1. When I distribute, 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 1, negative 3x. I'm going to get the same thing in here and a positive 1 on the outside. 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Remember, when we have two linear binomials in standard form multiplied by each other, typically those middle two terms will be added together or be able to be added or subtracted together. In this second box, I have this plus sign in between, so I just need to be very careful. First, this negative 3 gets distributed to 2x, and it's negative 6x. Negative 3 times 3 is 9. Then I'm going to take this positive 4 times negative x, which is negative 4x, and 4 times 1, which is 4. And then again, as always, I'm going to combine like terms when possible. Negative 6x minus 4x is negative 10x, and 9 plus 4 is 13. And box 3 is also very similar. I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 3x squared to that x and to that 2. X squared times x is x cubed. I have a total of 3, and then 6x squared. This is a cubic because it's to the third power, and it's a binomial because we have two terms. So I'm just going to factor some more polynomials today, not much different than what we did yesterday. So we're going to start off with, we know there is no GCF here. I cannot divide anything out evenly. So I have 4x squared plus 8x minus 5. The problem with that 4 is that it could be 1 and 4, or it could be 2 and 2. Like I said, I like to start with the ones on the inside first, so let's go there. Okay. The 5, the nice part about the 5 is that I only have one option, which is 5 and 1, and it doesn't matter where I put it because there's a 2 here and a 2 here. So if this works, we're good. This gives me 10x. Remember, we always have to check that smiley face, and that gives me 2x. Somehow I want that positive 8x. Well, 10x minus 2x would give me 8x. To get that a negative 2x, this would have to be a negative 1, and that would have to be a positive 5. Let's just double check. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. 5 times 2x, 10x, negative 2x, yay, we win. Okay, when I check that, it all matches out, so it's good to go. So this is my answer. In number 2, we ask ourselves, do I have a greatest common factor? And the answer is yes, I can take out a 3. Now remember that 3 doesn't fall off the face of the earth. It is one of my factors that needs to be there. So I'm going to write it on the outside there, m squared plus 3m minus 10. And again, that 3 doesn't fall off the face of the earth. It needs to be in my answer. It is one of my factors. This one should be good because I know m times m has got to be m squared. So that's good. We're golden there. And then I'm going to start with 5 and 2. Let's check this. This gives me 5m, and this is going to give me 2m. That can probably get me positive 3m if this is a negative, and that is a positive, correct? 5m minus 2m gives you positive 3m. Let's just go ahead and double check. M times m, m squared. 5 times negative 2, negative 10. 5m minus 2m gives me positive 3n, so we win. That is correct. Always check by remultiplying. Number 3, do we have a greatest common factor? And the answer is yes. It looks like our greatest common factor is 4. So when I do 8x squared divided by 4, I get 2x squared minus x minus 6. Then we need to check, since this is a quadratic with 3 terms, I can probably do a linear binomial times a linear binomial. Let's check it out. I know that 2x times x will give me 2x squared. Now with 6, I've got 1 and 6 are 3 and 2. So let's just go ahead and try 3 and 2. This gives me 3x, and this gives me 4x. Okay, well might be a little tricky here. If I put a negative here, that gives me negative 1x. Okay, let's just make sure everything adds up. Wow, that worked out well. 3x, yeah. Negative 4x, that gives me negative 1x. Okay, so let's just remultiply 2x times x, 2x squared. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and I already checked that middle, so we are good. Again, don't let that 4 fall off the face of this earth. This has 3 factors. 4 is a factor, 2x plus 3 is a factor, and x minus 2 is a factor. When I multiply this whole thing out, I get that. Number 4. Do I have a GCF? And I do. I can divide both of them by 3y. Let's see. So if I take out a 3y, when I take out a 3 from this, 48 divided by 3 is 16y to the 4th. 3y divided by 3y is 1. Really, really important that we include that plus sign in that 1. When you remultiply, you get 48y to the 5th plus 3y. Number 5. Ooh, I like it when that coefficient is 1. That makes it easy. We know it's x and x. Now 16, I can do 4 and 4. I can do 8 and 2. So let's see. If I do 4 and 4, I'm going to get 4x, and I'm going to get a 4x here too. That is not going to get me to negative 6. So let's try that 8 and 2. So I'm going to try the 8 here and the 2 here. This gives me 8x. This gives me 2x. Is there some way that I can get negative 6x? Well, sure. If this is negative 8x plus 2x, I get negative 6x. How do I make that negative 8x? I put a negative there and a positive there. Let's just go back through and double check. X times x is x squared. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Okay, let's check that middle term then. That negative 8x, 2x, negative 6x, we win. And the last one, 9y squared minus 12y plus 4. So let's see. We know it's going to be a binomial times a binomial. There's no greatest common factor. First, you might want to be like, oh, you can divide by 3, but you can't divide 4 by 3. So I'm going to put a 3y here and a 3y here. That, or you can try 9y and y. And then with 4, we can try 4 and 1. This gives me 12y, which that isn't good because that's already that, and that'll give me 3y. So I'm going to just stop right there. If I switch that 4 and 1 again, that's not going to do me any good. So let's try 2 and 2. So this gives me 6y, and oh, this gives me 6y as well. Can I somehow get negative 12y? And I sure can if they're both negative, right? So then let's just double check. This is 3y times 3y is 9y squared. 3y times negative 2, negative 6y. Negative 6y. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Perfect. Another way to write this, since they are exactly the same thing, is I could write it like that.